Hello there, my lovely Legionnaires. How are we doing today? Listen, did I forget that ArtFight was in 3 weeks and I have shit to prep for? Maybe I forgot. Maybe don't worry about it. I'm not stupid, you're stupid, as a matter of fact, for ever doubting that I would forget something like that.
Damn, I just got here and I'm getting called stupid shit.
I totally didn't have a whole plan, and then I forgot that I was gonna do it, and need to do a bunch of shit. Don't worry about it.
By the way, chat. By the way, chat. And Heated. Lovely Heated. My darling Eldritch deity. Today is a beautiful day. The KH games are on Steam now. All is right with the world. We did it. We did it, gamers. We did it. Woo!
What is ArtFight? Okay, so I do this every year. I've been doing it for... I keep saying I do this every year, but I haven't done them long enough to feel like I have the right to say I do it every year, but... I've been doing it for a couple years now. Where, effectively, what you do is you put a bunch of your characters up on the website, and then other people draw them, and you draw other people's characters, and the goal is to see which team can get more points. You get points by drawing art.
I think this is the first time anyone's properly explained ArtFight to me, I won't lie.
So, like, I'll show you. It's a little easier if I just physically show you. I'll show you what I did last year.
And show me what you got.
Show me what you got. So this is my ArtFight profile.
Ah.
So you attack by drawing other people's characters.
Okay.
So, like, here's the art I drew last year. And then you defend. These were all defenses from other people. So to defend, you draw the person who drew you.
Ah. Interesting.
You get more points the more elaborate the piece. So, like, for example, this one was worth 22 points. Because of the criteria here. But then if we go to... Need to find one of my... But then something like this was 56 because it was full body. I shaded it. I did all this other stuff, you know?
Yeah. I can definitely see it.
ArtFight! Yeah. This year, I decided the characters I was gonna put up were all of my characters for my little horror superhero comic. So I've been drawing references for the ones who didn't have references. And that's what we're gonna be doing today. So we're gonna be drawing Bunny's reference.
Huh. You know,
And I have a plan for how I want to do this so I don't burn myself out and to maintain some artistic consistency. But
you mentioned
I'll do that after we do this.
you mentioned the whole statement of horror superhero comic.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because, well, not funny, but more interesting. Because my sister, the one you didn't know existed till the other night, she's actually currently in the process of trying to get funding so she can produce her own like superhero comic she's been writing for the last 3 years.
I knew you
called.
I want to preface. I knew you had a sister. I didn't know you were a twin.
You know what? That's probably because I don't see that detail as worth specifying.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make it clear. I told Justin, Brooke, and I think you this as well, but it was amusing because I went to Justin and went, "Okay, be honest. Did you know I had a twin sister before tonight?" And he was like, "No, are you telling me Brooke's the only one who knew?"
In our house, yeah. Well, because we were watching The Acolyte. And the main character in that's a twin.
Yeah, no.
And Brooke said, what the hell I don't remember what brought it up. But, we were talking about how, like, during the flashback episode, we were talking about how, like, the inciting conflict between the sisters was that, was that Osha wanted her own life. She was like, I don't want to be considered a pair, I want to have my own life. And I was like, yeah, and Justin and I were like, we've heard before this is like a very big thing with twins, etc., etc. And then Brooke goes, yeah, I know Danica's told me before that it's a big sticking point of hers when people treat her and her twin as the same person. And we just both turned and went, Danica's a twin?
Yeah, nah. Like, it's so funny too because like I started DMing Dove about that. I was all like, Eden and Justin didn't know that like didn't know till tonight, and then she was like, I need to know how that conversation went.
Well,
so then of course I tell her what Brooke, you, and Justin told me. Me and Dove were just laughing about it. It was really funny because like it's always amusing to me that I can be friends with people for years before that gets brought up because it's just never relevant.
I shit you not, I have friends who I just forget have siblings altogether.
Really?
There were times when I would have conversations with Susie and she'd be like, oh, something, something, my brother. And I'm like, and I internally have to be like, what? And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I knew this.
I knew this.
This is not news to me. You knew this, you stupid fucker. Legitimately, I live in the same house as her. There's sometimes I forget. It just slips my mind that Brooke has a brother.
It's kind of funny too because like, I was talking to Brooke about this. There's actually like this actually happened on like a recent stream VC because Dove's in my stream server. Mm-hmm. You're in there too.
Mm-hmm.
But like on one of the stream VCs recently, no, actually I think it was either in a stream VC or we were not on stream. Oh no, it wasn't a stream because I remember this conversation happened. We were playing Fortnite with Taco and his girlfriend. me and Dove were having a fake argument, for comedy, because we were having like a dumb. It started with like a legitimate disagreement, but then like we turned it into like a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bring this up because it's one of the reoccurring jokes that me and her will make about each other, because Lamau, we're like, one of us will bring up, we're having an argument, we have to go to the place, and she's like, yeah, and then Dove responds with, yeah, no, we have to go to the top of the tower, wait till it rains, I bring a katana, you bring a stupid broadsword. I'm like, stupid broadsword and guns.
It's true. You have to have a Devil May Cry fight scene.
No, like, I actually did like a redraw where I drew me and my sister's avatars over like that ending shot of Dante and Virgil from DMC 5. Like, it's so funny how half of our jokes about being related are just Dante and Virgil.
I wouldn't know, as an only child.
It's just funny to me that half of me and Dove's jokes with each other about being related is just Lamau, Dante, and Virgil. Autism runs in the family, is what I'm trying to
Do you
say.
think if you're neurodivergent and a nymphomaniac, you have thoughtism?
What's an nymphomaniac?
Shut up. What do you have?
It's a sex addiction.
That was mean. I'm really sorry.
I didn't even hear what you said.
It's another word for a sex addiction.
Oh! So me!
Yeah. It's always like I can tell you from experience. Well, I can't tell you from experience, but I can tell you from knowing experience that like being like the virgin sex addict is nuts. It's like trying to live a double life. It's like Hannah Montana.
Wait, who said anything about virgin sex addict?
Like it reminds me of one of my favorite lines from Blue Eye Samurai, where Akemi is trying to be a prostitute, and the lady's like, what's your favorite position? And she's like, me on top. And the lady's like, you've seen 2 penises in your life. And she's like, I've seen 1. I'm like, I love this. This is fantastic.
Oh, Bun Bun is also a twin. That's cool. Do you want to hear a funny Baby Heaton story?
Yeah.
About
when you were just a little eyeball.
When I was, but simply a tiny eyeball. So my father has this incredibly close friend. His name is Jim. Shout out Jim. He's probably not watching this, but shout out Jim.
He's in chat like, yeah!
Yeah! And Jim is a twin.
Huh. Shout out Jim.
His brother, I don't remember. They don't have, like, rhyming names, but I can't remember what it is, so I'll say it's John, but I don't think it's John.
Alright, then.
I had never met John before. This is so important. So I didn't even know that John existed. But, Jim used to volunteer doing, referee shit for the local college football team. So one time when I was little,
okay,
like very little, I was like 7 or 8. We went to a local football game so that we could support Jim. Because my dad's not a big football guy.
Okay.
And John was there. He was visiting. He didn't live in town, but he was visiting, and he thought he'd come say hi. So he's there.
What did you do?
So we went. Now, this is so important. They're identical.
Ah. Okay, I feel like I know where this is going. Okay.
So they look like exactly the same.
Yeah, that would be. That is the key difference. Yeah.
Like they don't. I was gonna say like they cut their hair the same way. they dress the same way. Like they're just very similar dudes in general as well, right? Because like some people, even when they're identical, they dress a little different or they cut their hair different or whatever, right?
Well, yeah, because these are still individual people. Yeah,
because they're their own people. But Jim and John are just very similar people in general, right?
Yeah, it can happen.
It just happens. They're remarkably normal dudes, so they dress like normal dudes.
Yeah.
So the difference between them, the only way that I could tell them apart as a child, was that John wore glasses and Jim didn't. So I had never met John before. So my dad goes up to him and says hi. And I'm not really paying attention, so I didn't catch that this was somebody else. So they're talking, and I think that he's just talking to Jim, who I've known my whole life. And then Jim walked up. And was like, hey guys, I see you two managed to catch up. I was flabbergasted.
Baby Heaton discovers identical twins exist.
I had never... This was the first time I had ever encountered the concept of twins.
Oh, yeah, you got owned.
So I was sitting there...
You could not have ended up with a worse first encounter, homie. I'm sorry.
No! I was baffled! I was befuddled! I was sitting there staring at them because I was so fucking confused. I was like, how?
You were a child, shit.
I was like, how are... And I don't remember exactly what I said, and my parents don't either, but when they told me, like, the details of this, because I'm like, I vaguely remember, like, the befuddlement. My mom said I said something, I looked at her, like I tugged on her sleeve or something, and I looked at her and went, how are there two of him?
That's pretty good.
Oh my god.
And my mom was like, that's his brother. And I was like, no! That's the same dude!
Well, now I understand why one of your first questions was identical or fraternal.
Well, no, I wanted to know if you were identical or fraternal because of a joke I made about the statistical anomaly of both of you being trans.
Heaton, have I ever told you about the fucking... the fact that I have dated an identical twin?
Wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was the funniest shit because we dated in high school. This was the Fujoshi, by the way.
What?
And
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I passed by her sister and I was like, "What's good?" And Bruce was like, asked the sister, so how does it feel to date Avi? And I said, that's not her, that's the sister. And I'm like, and Bruce says, in the most, like, exasperated way I've ever heard him say anything, how the fuck can you tell? And I said, first of all, their demeanor. Second of all, Gabby doesn't wear hoodies.
I was gonna say, that's actually a good point. Actually, because that's kind of the funny thing about it is that if you actually know the people, even if they're identical, you can tell.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of...
Like, for example, getting to know John, now I can tell them apart. Because John's louder, he's a little more, like, outgoing. Jim's kind of a quiet, like, dude, but his brother isn't. So, like, if I'm in a room with them, I could probably tell them apart. As a child, I was like, okay, what?
Real quick, though, to kind of rewind real quick. What did you say about the systematic likeliness of both of us being trans?
Oh yeah, my joke was, I needed to know if you were fraternal or identical, because I said because the joke I made was like, I've never seen a better argument that being trans is something that happens, when, like, you have a chromosomal issue while you're developing in the womb, or something of that nature. Because if you two are identical, then it's like, no, it's definitely a thing. Can't you see? It happened to both of them.
Dude.
Well, see.
By the way, Heaton, I'd like to give you an unrelated note.
Okay, well, I'll hold my thought.
I hate. Before I fucking forget, I fucking hate Oda and my internet provider
Why?
Okay.
I was reading the scans today. I will not specify anything.
Please don't.
I will not. But what I will say is that I was reading, and the guy who was talking was about to say something really, 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 really important, and the rest of the page wouldn't load.
Damn!
I tried refreshing on my phone. Nope. I fucking got my laptop, got it open, and it only, like, sat there and it loaded the page for, like, 20 minutes.
God!
I didn't get an answer.
Well,
Oh.
you'll just have to wait till Sunday.
Your mom.
By the way, actually, Keaton, the thought I was going to bring up, by the way, it's actually funnier because me and Dove are fraternal, because our form of transness is similar but different.
It's so true.
Because Dove is just strictly a she/her trans woman, and I'm a she/they non-binary.
Look what's happened.
It's so funny too, because like Dove came out way before I did, and I remember in high school I was all like, yeah, it's cool that, you know, I'm learning about trans people, you know, even though I'm not one. Me in current day.
Fuck.
Damn it.
Keaton thought that man was copy-pasted. It's so true.
Like, it's also even funnier too, because like I brought this joke up to Brooks, so I'm obligated to bring it up to you as well. So you know how my avatar, you know, the wing wolf character is like blue and purple. My sister's main avatar mistress is black and red.
Nice.
And before you ask, yes, I have made the Sonic Adventure 2 joke to her face. Don't worry, I made her aware.
I was gonna say, is she a cat? Please tell me she's a cat.
No.
Damn, that'd be really funny.
That would have, to be frank, that'd be so funny.
You have to like grab her by the shoulders and be like, you need to be a cat. It'll be the funniest thing ever.
Hey, Dev, what if you were a cat?
What if, for branding reasons, you were a cat? Is Heat the Pokemon that gain the human form later? I like that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm just picturing like a tiny eyeball, and then it evolves into like human.
Well, I've said before that I would need fuck shit tons of money to get the second avatar, but like this isn't my real form.
I think it's insane. I like the idea that you have a like eldritch demon parent and then a regular human parent, and then it gave birth to an eyeball, and then when your parents are like, oh my god, she's gonna say her first words, you just blink.
That is so funny.
For like the third time, I'm not a demon.
Also, hybrid. How did you know that Dove was born a minute? Like how did you know Dove was like born first and was minutes older? How did you know that?
You have
like
younger
that question
sister energy.
Like, anyway, I'm not even denying that one. I'm not gonna deny that one. But like, no, like there's actually a really funny story about why that happened.
About
because,
why you're younger?
No, yeah, there is in fact a story about this that my mother told me, and I think about it because it's the funniest shit in the world to me, and as an adult now.
You're very locker shaped.
Strangely relevant to the story. So what happened was that I blocked the exit. So my mother had to be C-sectioned. I want to make it clear, my mother was awake during this because she didn't want to be. She wanted to be awake when her children were. If you met my mother, you'd realize her being powerful is like a Tuesday for that woman. Like, Lord. So Dove was born minutes before I was because I blocked the proper exit and robbed myself of being minutes older.
Fuck, you were so close.
Even before I was born, I was blocking exits. It was my destiny. But nah, my family's great, honestly. Oh, I did say that, didn't I? Huh.
Another baby.
Why did I forget I said that?
Another fun baby Heaton story. I made up an older sister when I was in...
Nice.
Like, I was in, like, grade school.
Okay, then.
But I made up that I had an older sister, because I wanted to have a sister really bad.
Well, hey, now you have me. And
It's
that's
true.
like half a sister.
The weird
I was
little
going-
brother that I always wanted.
I was
The
going
weird
to joke.
little brother question mark.
I was going to joke. I've had a sister my whole life.
It's so true.
But there was more to that thought, but I realized how funny that statement was. It's like, dipshit, of course I did. Me and her were born the same day.
Oh, I got,
Dual release.
okay. Because it's funny because, like, I've known twins my whole life because my cousins are twins. They look nothing alike.
Well, yeah,
like,
that's
it's the funniest shit. They look absolutely nothing alike, and it's really, really funny. Are those two lizards fucking?
well, yeah.
But like,
yeah. Sorry, I keep
Uh,
thinking you're done. I'm sorry.
no, I also like. If you want a funny Bab story, because I mean, the joke of Jordan and David being twins ends with them being twins. I got technically lost in Mexico when I was like 4.
What
It was
did
really cool.
How?
So we were on the beach.
Did you get
we were
fucking
going
Home
on a-
Alone?
No, we were on a cruise. For my dad's friend's my dad's friend's wedding. I don't remember anything about the cruise aside from it had bionicles.
Real.
We were on a stop on the beach, and I was just playing in the sand. And then this woman comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you know where your family is?" And I said, "Yeah, they're right there." And I pointed to nothing. Like, I just pointed at the sand, and I looked over, and I'm like, "Oh." And then I just kind of shrugged, and I was like, they're around somewhere, I guess. And then she helped me find my parents, who walked off without me. It was really awesome.
My favorite story, because I like telling it out of context, is the time my mom threw me in front of a car once.
Nice.
There was a dude had a large barking dog in a car as we were crossing a parking lot. So, like, okay, for a quick visual aid, so parking lot was like, this was the store we were in, and then it was one of those things where there was another store here, and so the parking lot was shaped like an L, right? And then, there was more parking lot. So this was just road, but these were parking spots, right? So we're leaving the store, and we're walking between two cars, like right here. And in this car was a dog. So it barked. This big dog bark. And so my mom pushed me out of the way of the dog into the street as a car was coming directly at me.
Nice.
And then she grabbed me by the back of my collar and yanked me back in.
Cool. Oh! I fucking just remembered. That trip where I got lost on the beach was the same trip where I fell off of a fucking bunk bed and hit my head. And that's why I'm like this.
Human shield.
If you've ever wondered at what age I hit my head, it was 6.
I mean, I almost died at like 2.
From what?
Oh, I always tell. This kind of relates back to the powerful comment you made about my mother, because that does play into this story too. So I think I was like fairly young. I said 2, but that's just kind of what I remember as, because I was never told the age. I was just told I was very small back. I nearly drowned, and the only reason I'm alive today is because my mother, with no hesitation, dived into the water and swam down to save her child.
Damn, same.
No, you know the abdominal human spirit? It gets doubled the minute you're a caring parent, I guess. Because
It's so true.
my mother was insane, affectionate. My mom is so funny because, like, she's the only reason I have any Dragon Age knowledge at all, because she's massively into that series. Like I mentioned during your Inquisitor stream. Like, my mom's also the Fenris girly TM. So good for her.
Good for her. Good for her. Good
My mom is so funny whenever she plays like a big RPG with like this like that. You know, like, because she's also a Mass Effect fan. Before you ask, her preference is Garrus. Just putting that one out there before we continue.
Yeah, that scans.
My mom, like, I was talking about my sister, and now I'm talking about my mother. My mom is like crazy because like she's hard, like she's like got around 40 tattoos, which is why she was there when I got the first one I have. And I texted her about the aftercare of the first 2 weeks while it's healing, because you know how that shit can be. I figured I could get the advice from the woman with 40 of those damn things on her body. She's been through it. Side note, my mother's hear me out list is insane. Just saying that as well. Like, my mother's husbando list is funny.
Okay.
Because
I have some good stories. So.
Oh, please. This seems to be the story circle stream, guys.
So.
Just keep going back and forth.
For those of you who are like relatively new, so like Bun, if our boy Rep is still here, these stories will be new to you. So I'm a very clumsy individual.
I've seen it.
Yeah, he's watched it happen. You saw me at MomoCon. You watched me trip on nothing.
It was funny and kind of cute.
I've joked before. I have the balance and the overall coordination of your average anime maid.
Or your average person being attacked by an enemy stand.
True. I do regularly look like I'm always ever since I was a child. I've been covered in cuts and bruises all the time because I eat shit on shit constantly. For example, I right now have this big fucking scratch along my right arm that's been stinging and irritating the shit out of me because I fucking opened the chicken coop wrong and just scraped my arm up.
What's gonna happen is that Dio is gonna you're gonna fall, and Dio's gonna catch you and be like, "Oh, there you are. I've saved you from mortal peril," and then Dio's gonna fall over some shit.
Yeah, that'll probably be how it is.
Okay, real quick. That's true. But you forget the part where after Dio saves Hedon from falling, while Dio is holding Hedon, you know, in this very suave, like, lighting, because Dio has mad riz. You just hear in the most, like, charming, like, male, like, a man cadence go, "I saved you. Now, we can kiss in front of the incredible Gulp."
Have you ever had scratches you don't remember getting? I regularly have cuts and bruises I don't remember getting. I'm just wildly uncoordinated.
I've got one.
I've run over my own foot with my chair.
Nice.
If I had a nickel for every time I banged my shin against my desk, uncrossing my legs, I wouldn't need to stream for money. Like,
okay, hold on. Now you're getting a little too fucking close to home. Because if I had a nickel for every time I've interrupted a test in a college setting with me banging my knee against a table by accident, I also wouldn't have to fucking go through this whole machinist program.
Please, your DMs. Oh, hang on. Yes. You should.
Universe.
The
amazing gold gamma meltdown coaster.
But listen, as girlies, you have to ask yourself.
Okay.
As girlies, when are we going to get these kinds of merch choices? If you have the money and it won't hurt you, do it.
What merch choices are we talking about?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm an incredibly, I have the grace and the elegance of a loon on roller skates. I'm just not a coordinated individual. I have so many childhood stories of me injuring myself, and none of them are cool. I've talked to my dad repeatedly, and I'm like, I have all these scars and all these bruises, and I looked at him and I'm like, and none of them are cool. He goes, what do you mean none of them are cool? I'm like, none of them are cool! All of the scars I have, I can't tell a cool story. I can't be like, oh, I did this sick trick on my bike and I fucked up and now I got this scar on my eye, or like, oh, I was doing like cool tricks on the boat and I fell and this is how I got this scar on my leg. I'm like, no, they're all from me eating shit. But my favorites are, well, okay, I have 3 favorites. The story about the needle, the story about my hand, and the story about my concussion.
None of these are good starting points. Oh god.
So I'll start with the needle one because it's the most visceral. So I'm uncoordinated, which means that sewing things is a nightmare, and I stick myself frequently.
You're the same shit, different day guy.
Yeah. But I will not go into the details, but I will say, you know what? I won't go into the details of how it happened, because what happened after is funnier anyway. Suffice it to say, you know how your home ec teacher, if you took home ec, how your home ec teacher taught you don't hold pins between your teeth? Don't hold pins between your teeth.
I don't like.
Whatever you're thinking happened. And I sat. So it happened. And I sat in my room for like a good solid couple of minutes, deciding whether or not I was gonna go downstairs and tell my mom. And eventually, I was simply too overcome with fear about what would happen if I didn't. So I went downstairs and I told my mom, I'm like, I swallowed a needle. And she whips around and looks at me and goes, you did what? I'm like, I swallowed a needle. And she's like, swallowed it? I'm like, mm-hmm. Like, all of it. Mm-hmm. Get in the car. Okay. So we went to the AR. Which was fun. I got 2 x-rays. And they were double sure. And they looked at me and they said, we have for you exquisite news. It's not in there anymore. And my mom's like, no, and they go, no. We scanned her the first time, and it's not in your stomach. And then we scanned you the second time to make sure it wasn't stuck, like it hadn't lodged itself in your throat. You're good. It's out.
Well,
you probably... He said what happened was you probably got scared, coughed it up, and didn't notice. And the feeling that you have in your throat is probably from it scratching the lining of your throat.
See, I'm glad you specified that, because my brain was about to go, he didn't digest it.
So they taught me 2 things that night. So I learned some fun facts for you. The hard way. 1, if I had swallowed it, they wouldn't have been able to do anything. Because the thing about that is the stories that you hear are true. Your stomach acid can dissolve fucking nickels, dog. So they were like, it'll melt in your stomach. He's like, unless they're like treated stainless steel, which they probably weren't, they'll just melt in your stomach acid. You'll be fine. And he goes, even if they don't, they'll process with everything else, and they'll just get carried out of your digestive system. And my mom's like, you're not gonna have to, like, give her an endoscopy? And they're like, no, if we give you an endoscopy or pump your stomach, it could do more damage getting it out than it would if you just passed it naturally. So they're like, you're fine. Unless you start experiencing, like, intense abdominal pain, which means that it might be stuck someplace, there's no need to intervene. You'll be fine. Which I thought was wild. Surprised I haven't swallowed something like a needle, considering I do in fact hold bolts and shit like that when I help with stuff. Don't do that.
Me when?
But I had the best time ever because I had to go to school the next day. There's technically nothing wrong with me. So I went to school the next day, and the first thing I did was go and talk to my old home ec teacher. And I told her, I was like, hey, you know how you told us not to hold pins between our teeth? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, I just got out of the ER. And her first response was, oh my god, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And her second response was, well, now I have something to tell the 7th graders today. And I'm like, yeah.
So we're discussing the dumbest things we've all done when we were younger?
I'm just telling some stories about how I'm wildly uncoordinated.
Yeah, this whole thing started from me telling family stories, and now we just kind of snowballed into this.
The second story is about my concussion.
I'm kind of surprised anything could hit you hard enough to concuss you.
You'd sure
That's
think...
literally true, though.
Hey, you wanna know what? You wanna know the funny part? Nothing hit me, I hit it.
Elaborate.
That makes too much sense. That makes way too much sense.
So, okay.
What?
This is gonna, this requires a little bit of preamble. Do you know what a hockey stop is?
I do.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know. Okay, cool. So for the people who don't, so I'm going to preface this story with, I don't remember this.
Awesome.
I had to be told by other people that this is what happened. I don't remember this at all. So, apparently, I was trying to do a hockey stop, which is, when you know how, in movies, when you see somebody ice skate, and they stop sideways, where they cover the other person in shredded ice from the rink?
Yeah.
That's a hockey stop. So I, being wildly uncoordinated, and being old enough to know that I was wildly uncoordinated, and allegedly having been smart, was like, I'm gonna try and do a hockey stop. And my friend was like, don't do that, you're going to fall. And I was like, nah, fuck you, watch this.
You fell.
So apparently what happened was I fell, so I went to go sideways. My feet slid out from under me. I landed on my knees, and the momentum kept carrying, and then my knees slid out from under me, and I fucking whacked my head on the ice.
Yeah, that's about what I expected.
And I knocked myself out.
I knew you were an anime character, but I didn't know you were an anime girl.
So what I remember was, literally the way I remember it was, nah, I can do it, and then waking up on my back. To the paramedic.
Nah, I'd stop.
I was like, nah, I'd stop, and then I woke up to the paramedic.
Domain expansion. Hockey stop.
The funniest part was, so, they asked me the questions that they ask you when you're concussed. What's your name, when were you born, etc., etc. They knew I had to go to the hospital because I got my name right. I knew where I was. But I said I was born in the middle of January? I'm not. My birthday is the beginning of December. So my mom was like, put her in the ambulance. My poor fucking mother. My mom got the call from the hockey rink from the skating rink that I'd knocked myself out. My dad and both of my grandfathers were fishing. Both of my grandmothers were 2 towns over. There was nobody else in town, just my mom.
Oh no! I like the idea that the two that were fishing heard about this on like a phone or a radio or something, and then one gave the other $10.
Oh, no, the funny bit was when I broke my foot and my dad was fishing, I called him to let him know I was going to the ER because I broke my foot. And his exact words were, rub some dirt in it, walk it off, you'll be fine.
What?
So
He's like, you didn't break shit, you sprained something, you're fine. Just walk it off. And I was like, alright.
you know,
Thanks, Dad.
I think the only ER childhood story I remember was the one where I went to the ER after getting run over by a pack of football players.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which, that only happened because I made the smart decision to walk across a field in the middle of people playing the game on said field. Like, okay, dipshit, what did you think was gonna happen?
Clumsy runs in your family because of your grandfather and the bear? No, Clumsy runs in my family because of the same grandfather and him lighting himself on fire.
Nice.
I think, like,
I
think
remember
quite-
this one.
I think quite
I lit
literally
myself on fire.
I think quite literally 90% of my injury stories from high school are also attached to the stories that remind you I was a very violent teen.
Don't tell.
I was
I'll never.
violent, but-
I'll never forget my dad telling us the story about Grandpa Terry lighting himself on fire and then responding with, "Don't tell your grandmother; she'll never let him out of the house."
Did I tell you about the time I lit myself on fire?
I'm sorry, arson. Oh yeah, hang on, I have to tell this story for the
Okay.
new people. So, my grandpa Terry, who has since passed,
Rip the goat.
truly ripped the goat. So he was a disaster.
Dog, same?
That old man, he was like 90 when he died, right? So he lived a long ass life.
Damn, that's crazy.
My grandmother and I, his wife, joked repeatedly that there was no way that he was going to die a normal death. Grandma was like, he's gonna get hit by a meteor or something, I swear to God. Like, we hit a point where, like, when I got the call before he passed that he was in the hospital, my response was not fear, it was, oh God, what's happened now? Like, the old man was in, I think, 2 near-fatal car crashes, had 2 heart attacks, and lit himself on fire. I don't know how he lived day to day. But the story about him lighting himself on fire is remarkably simple. For you see, my grandfather really liked to deer hunt. And by deer hunt, I mean he liked to fall asleep in his deer stand every year. So what happened was he was up in his deer stand, and it's the fall seasons up in the void, so it's cold as shit. And he leaned a little too close in his nice, very flammable down winter jacket on the heater that he had brought to keep himself warm in his deer stand. And his jacket caught on fire.
Just an average day in Arizona.
So he woke himself up because he smelled his jacket burning and almost fell out of his fucking deer stand because he panicked because he was on fire.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna be on fire and go, oh wow, oh golly gee, look at the flames engulfing my body.
Luckily, Dad was nearby, so he was fine.
My being lit on fire story is way dumber than that, and I hate that.
It's a fucking good story.
I've got 2. First of all, I lit myself on fire. Technically, it was even on purpose, one might say. I was sitting on the balcony, and I was fucking smoking a bowl, and I was like, this is great. And this was when I still had really long hair. And I lit the bowl, I took a hit, and I laid back. And, like, I just felt warm on one side of my body, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right. It's not right about this. And I looked down and my hair is on fire. It was great. Of course I came out of it unscathed because all that was damaged was my hair, which is back instantly. Like it just like those follicles, like everything that got burnt fell out and then everything else just grew back. Fucking that's just what happens.
Were you there for the story about the time we almost killed my cousin?
Okay, real quick before you tell that story, I need to let Avi know that when you brought up having really long hair and smoking a bowl, my brain went, finally, if Sephiroth was a stoner.
Okay, do you want to tell your story first, or should I tell the story about how I got into a fight with a wall and won?
Let me tell the story about our accidental attempted murder.
What?
This is another fun hit question. Do you know what tubing is?
Yes.
Okay, my brain is thinking of something a lot different, and I know that's not what you mean, so no.
Are you familiar? Your family's fucking cursed. Factually true. Does chat know what tubing is? I never know how ubiquitous the weird shit that we did back in the Void is until I tell these stories. I had to explain to Justin what fucking curling was.
The sport?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, specifically because I told him that my mom used to throw rocks at Canadians and people didn't know what I meant.
But that's whatever.
Domain expansion. Throwing rocks at Canadians.
Like water, snow, or medical. Like water tubing. Like inner tubing. So, tubing is you sit in an inner tube and you get pulled behind a boat.
Alrighty.
And you go fast.
Alright, makes sense, yeah. Sonic moment, got it.
So, we didn't have the stuff to tube, but our neighbors did. So we borrowed theirs. And my younger cousin, really wanted to go tubing. So my dad was like, alright, we'll hook you up to the boat, we'll go tubing. And her mom was like, oh, you better be careful, blah, 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 whatever. And my dad's like, ah, shut up, it'll be fine. So we went really fast, and she was having a great job. She's laughing, she's excited, it's great. And then she says, I want to go higher. Because my dad was taking her over, like, waves in order to bounce her a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
And he goes, okay. And we do, and she goes, higher. And we go a little... And then she looked at him, and she made the mistake. Is that all you got? And my dad turns and looks at me, and goes, nope. So the way that you bounce somebody in an inner tube is if they're in the tube, it's like this, right? You take them over the waves. And then when you take them over the waves real fast, they hit it and they whoop, you know?
Yeah.
So what my dad did was, if we're in the boat here, and she's being pulled in the inner tube, he would turn really fast so that the boat would make nice high wakes. And then he grabbed her and he dragged her across the wakes. She did not hold on tight enough. I would say we threw her good 6 feet in the air. And she didn't hold on tight enough. So she was just fucking starfish flailing, spiraling through the air, and then smacked into the water.
This person's alive, right?
That almost happened to me!
And my aunt started screaming.
I was about to say, this person's
You
alive.
killed my daughter! Oh my god! She could have drowned! What are you talking about? And then she popped out of the water and went, do it again!
Oh my lord.
And her mom was so pissed, but Dad and I were laughing our asses off. It was really funny. Listen, it was funny and she's fine.
No, I believe you. I don't think you'd be telling the story if she wasn't fine. But...
Dude, that almost happened to me. I had my face dragged against water while going on a fucking speedboat. I almost fucking fell in. It was crazy, and I hated it. But about that time, I got into a fight with a wall. So,
Yeah, how did you do that?
so it's Utah.
Oh
For
no, that's a
reference.
horrible start. Carry on.
For reference, I live in California, and not a place that is a very high altitude. I live at sea level. So I am used to sea level. I'm used to slightly above sea level. Maybe even going on a hike above sea level. But high altitudes fuck with me in ways that I never foresee. So we were in Utah, and I, as I tend to be, did not want to be around my family much. So I kind of hid away in my room, was on my computer. I did not drink a lot of water, and I did not eat a lot of food. I go down, it's Friday night. If you know what that means, damn.
Well, yeah,
But
it means Majima and Kiryu start dancing in the club. Anyway, carry on.
No. It's, it was Shabbat dinner, which means it's Shabbat, which means the 39 Malachos are in play, which means no one has their phone, no one is allowed to do anything. And I'm sitting there, I'm eating, and I got a bad stomach ache. And I get up out of my chair, and I say, hey, I'm gonna go sit on the couch. I don't feel so good. I did not make it through the sentence before I woke up on the floor. I was like, what's here? How did this happen? This doesn't feel right. This is strange. And I'm like, I don't even trip, dog. Whatever. I stand up again. I then wake up a second time, except now there are people that I don't know in front of me who are from the hospital. And I was freaking out. Like, the second time I fucking flipped the fuck out, because I didn't want to get in an ambulance. I was like, I don't want to put my family into several thousand years of debt. That will, like, destroy my lineage until the end of days. And, like, the paramedics looked at me and they were like, dude, you're really anemic. You gotta, like, eat and drink when you're at this high in altitude, especially if you're, like, going on fucking hikes and shit. Just stay safe. And I'm like, okay, so I guess I made it out all right. And then my mom's like, are you, like, how's your head, though? And I'm like, what do you mean, how's my head? And I turn around, and there's a hole in the wall where the back of my head just slammed into it as I fell back. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't feel shit on the back of my head. And they're like, you broke the wall. Like, there's a hole in the drywall now. And I'm like, well, then I guess we need better drywall.
Sounds like the drywall's weak. I don't know what to tell you.
L
Yeah,
plus ratio plus drywall.
Yeah.
When the drywall is sus.
My friend got drunk with his boys. After celebrating a hard day of working, they got stupid drunk. They took him home. They all decided to crash at his place. Only one that wasn't drunk was hearing crashing from my friend's bedroom. When he went in there, he saw my friend trying to punch his dresser, and he crashed face first into the dresser. His teeth got mixed up, he broke his nose, and got 2 black eyes. It's good shit. I remember the one time that I went to play paintball with some friends, because I wanted to give it a try. It was really fun. I had a good time. An experience I'm glad that I had. I probably wouldn't do it again. My buddy was... Two of my friends were playing jokes, just dicking around. And my buddy Zach shot Brandon, whom you have heard about before. This was an accident. I was there for that. I corroborated his story when he was sentenced before the bros. It was an accident. He did shoot him directly in the dick. And I watched that boy collapse to the ground. And then, because he was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And he ran over to him, and the first thing he was greeted with was Brandon's paintball gun in his face. And he's like, no, I didn't do it on purpose, I promise. And then as soon as he got his fucking breath back, he was chasing Zach around the campground and was like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I got shot. I sniped like 4 people, so I did pretty well for my first time out.
Nice.
I got shot 3 times. I got shot once in the arm, once in the head, and then once right in the nice, soft meat right underneath my arm. Like where your armpit is. I was wearing protective gear and like big clothes because I was told it would hurt. And it did hurt. Not as much as I thought it was going to. The only one that really hurt was getting hit in the head. But I had a helmet on, so like it didn't actually hit me in the head. But it did ring my bell quite a bit. I did, like, my ears were ringing a little bit, and it did make my, my vision a little spotty. But otherwise, it didn't hurt too bad. And I was kind of surprised. And then we went
What were you playing?
paintball.
Oh god, paintball.
And then we went out to eat afterwards, and when I took my jacket off, I saw that the 2 other places I was shot, I was bleeding. And my buddies looked at me and were like, how are you bleeding? And I was like, what? And they're like, it shouldn't have hit you hard enough to break skin. Are you alright? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I had to inform them that I have glass bones and paper skin. So I get covered in cuts and bruises all the time.
Do you also scam people selling chocolate at your doorstep?
I do. My heart
Okay,
attacks
good to know.
do in fact put me to sleep.
You're essentially a glass cannon, aren't you?
Yeah, effectively.
It's like, Heaton, I can take a lot of damage. Heaton 5 minutes later, and it's just Heaton in the Yamcha death pose.
Future me can
You
take a
are,
lot of
fellow
damage.
otaku.
I'm Mortis.
Oh god.
I cannot believe you just said that.
That you, femboy? Where you been, twin?
Why do you have these soundboard noises?
Because he's...
To keep me in line.
Well, that too. He's also trapped by John Capitalism, so...
Clearly, you have amnesia because you forgot his name.
There we go. There we go. Again, anytime I talk about something I'm interested in, I get hit with the vine boom of autism.
Yeah, Lamau. Autism.
Actually, speaking of autism,
Rollicking start!
Get out, autism haver.
speaking of autism, actually, you ever just like, I need to ask if this is a normal thing that happens to other people on the spectrum, or if it's like a me thing. Will you ever just like have like a old hyperfixation hibernate for a few years, but then just randomly come back and it suddenly feels like the scene where Light Yagame grabbed the Death Note after forgetting about it and all of it, and like he just had that rush of all his memory. Like,
Yes.
is that ever happened to you?
That's happened recently, actually.
Because like, yeah, the Vine Boom of Autism is being directed at me, guys. But no, it's like I bring it up because that's happened to me the last week. Because because I'm going to blame Sparking Zero for it, but the Dragon Ball Autism's back, and I haven't been able to manage it.
Get fucking owned. Stupid.
Yeah, no, fitting sound effect. Listen, Dragon Ball Autism's like Sonic Autism. It never goes away. It just hibernates.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah,
stuck with it. You're stuck with it for life.
I want to play Sparking Zero because I love the Budokai Tenkaichi line, but so far I'm not seeing any GT, and that displeases me greatly.
Your Dragon Ball hyperfixation gets reignited by Budokai Tenkaichi 4. My Dragon Ball hyperfixation gets reanimated and brought back into the limelight by Dokkan Battle on a daily basis. We are not the same.
Yeah, because one of the two here is dealing with like childhood memories and enjoying it. The other one's addicted to gambling.
I was about to
Okay,
say, and
first of
I was
all-
literally about to say, and the other one has a gambling addiction.
Okay,
First
real
of all-
quick. I want to put it out there. Sparking Zero will technically be the first Budokai I play, because the Dragon Ball game like arena fighters I grew up with were the Raging Blast trilogy.
Ugh.
Listen, I never said they were great, but as a child just getting into DBZ at that time, like it sufficed. Okay, listen.
First of all, I technically don't have a gambling addiction.
No,
You can
you're
quit
in
your
an
vices anytime.
No, you're in an abusive
No, it's-
relationship.
No, here's the thing. It's
Oh.
funnier to me that Dokkan abuses me than the idea of actually spending money on it.
Because you
'Cause
don't.
I haven't, like, I think I've spent money on Dokkan this year, like, twice. And it was like $7. No, I got one $15, like, fucking...
Yeah, Avi doesn't
like-
spend money on Dokkan Battle. The joke is just that Dokkan Battle beats him and he keeps going back to it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that Dokkan Battle has a lot of stupid gimmicks that keep me coming back, because they keep improving what I already have. Because here's what happened. So the game started, and they released a bunch of characters. Then power creep happened, so the old characters are useless. Like, literally useless. Like, they're a liability if you bring them. And so they're like, damn it. Well, I guess we need to figure out something to do with these characters so we can keep putting them on banners. And they decided, we'll do easy A's. And so now your old characters can get stronger. And they can make free-to-play characters a lot stronger and give them better stats to easy A's. And I'm like, cool, what a great mechanic. The old easy A's are now useless, and they're a liability to bring them. So we now have super easy A's. And like, these don't cost any money. These are just, we're taking your old guys and we're making them better to catch up to the new like meta and shit. So technically speaking, it's all free content. You can just like, you can either like just have them from earlier, or like get them from the coin shop for like 1/3 of the coin price for a new unit, which is like, but you need to do like 50 summons. It's like 15, but like you also accrue them normally. It's whatever. But I just think it's so funny that I'm sitting here like, you know what? I think I might want to like, if I go into this new like banner, which has guaranteed like it's basically a banner to improve your characters that are getting upgraded currently, like with the current celebration. I was like, fuck it, I'll throw like 30 of my stones into this banner. Maybe I'll get a dupe for Kefla, or maybe if I get a dupe for Goku Black, I'll go in on his banner. And then I got it, and then I did the pull, and I didn't get Goku Black, and I'm like, thank you, universe. I will not. It's like, awesome. I needed the universe to tell me to not summon for this fucking useless ass character.
Actually, Avi, and this is a great time to ask this question. Because I'm curious about what you'll say. Avi.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay, so my question is very simple. It's a very simple question, like for like a Dragon Ball connoisseur like yourself.
Okay.
What would you call personally? What do you consider the best Super Saiyan banner?
4.
Base.
Like, it's not even a question, it's Super Saiyan 4.
That is a good answer. Not my answer, good answer. I
could rank them if you wanted, but this is also heat and stream.
No, yeah, I'm not asking for like 4 rank, I just want to know the one you like.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that, like, I have not even watched GT in its entire. Super Saiyan 4 is my favorite just based on design and concept. Like, listen, I like the idea of getting in a circle and singing Kumbaya with your neighbor, and that makes you strong enough to fight God. But I think actually realize the potential of the fucking, like, ancient power warrior race is a little bit cooler. Just a tiny bit.
I have a cursed Dragon Ball question that Kefla was mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So, fusions aren't just some other part, essentially their own person. Right?
Okay.
If you get Kefla pregnant.
Okay, so now we're dealing with like portals. The problem is that you would have to keep her fused the whole 9 months.
And if you don't, what happens?
I'm gonna take a wild stab and say it's just a miscarriage. But like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, do embryos have a Zenkai boost?
Oh.
That is a thing you said
no.
out loud. I need you to understand that is a sentence we just heard out loud in this call.
That's no. At that stage, there's no possible way. But like, I get it, like S cells and shit. Fucking.
Keaton, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just here, dog.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is the vibe I bring to the function.
It's so true. I know what I signed up for.
I don't even know the vibe I bring to the function.
I'm so glad you accept me as your family instead of saying, no, Avi, you're annoying. Get out of my server.
Well, you are annoying, but so am I, so it's fine.
That's fair. You know what? Hey, at least you'll say it.
And I have been told that I am a lot affectionate.
It's true.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I am very eccentric. It is a byproduct of the fact that I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I'm a very inherently emotional person.
Dude, do you know what the weirdest fucking thing is? Like, I'm not even shitting you. Being friends with neurotypical people is the weirdest fucking thing on the planet.
I know, it's wild being friends with Justin.
I'm sorry?
I actually don't believe you.
Yeah, that's cap.
I don't believe you at any point.
All of you need to remember this consistently. Justin's not autistic. He was homeschooled. That's why he's like that.
I don't want to say that's the same thing.
That's the joke I keep making. Because he's like, I don't have autism. And I'm like, no, you were homeschooled. So you have, So you lost your paid subscription to autism.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of autism, I guess who's finally getting screened?
Yeah!
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because if I get screened, I get a better schedule for my machinist program.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, if when they finally reveal my that I have autism, and I get the fucking diagnosis like a goddamn Zelda item, and I hold it above my head, that means instead of 2 to 9 from July to December, it's 8 to 2, September to December.
Nice.
And I get to be in a class with like 12 people and get like the way the lady described it was like, oh yeah, no, like they really like go over the stuff more and more and more, so they make sure you get it. And I'm like, wow, like what I wish school was. Great.
Didn't have to
Super
rely on
stoked.
giving curse hypotheticals about Dragon Ball lore on my bingo card, but here we are, yeah?
It's something we all want. No, it's something we all don't want to think about, but eventually one of us does, and then shares the cursed knowledge with the others.
God, you're so right.
Anyway, I think Super Saiyan Blue is kind of cool.
I'm really glad you think that.
It's a hard life being a Super Saiyan Blue is the best Super Saiyan variant girly, honestly.
It is. Like, what you are describing to me is saying it's a hard life saying Super is the best Dragon Ball series girly.
I never said that. I just like Super Saiyan
No,
Blue.
that's the comparison.
Oh.
Like, because here's the thing. Super Saiyan Blue by itself is not super high up for me. I think it's really cool, and it's like, I'm gonna vomit. It's the one I grew up with. But
Wait.
it's the idea of like the idea of it was way cooler when it was Kaioken than when Vegeta was like bluer though. But what if it was more blue? Like what Vegeta's doing now is way cooler in the manga. But like, I think blue on its own, I just didn't get realized in the same way the other ones did, and I feel that really holds it back.
I'm not a furry denier, so I don't like Super Saiyan 4.
Say you're not a furry denier.
That's what Daedalus
What does
said.
that
That's a-
mean?
No, if you're not a furry denier, then you would like Super Saiyan 4.
I don't
Because Super Saiyan 4 is the furry one.
I don't understand. I don't. I'm. Huh? What? I'm sorry. I'm the furry in the friend group, and I don't understand what's being said. Like,
Simply apply brain power.
I'm doing my best, but I am a VTuber and neurodivergent, and also non-binary, and so my blood is replaced with Gatorade at birth, and I don't understand.
4 is for people who say I'm not a furry butt.
This is why I didn't belong in VTubing.
Okay, I thought. Okay,
Okay, now
Okay,
we're
that's
all
a-
cleaned up.
that is a cool. I like the way you do everything.
Yeah, I try to stick to like a color scheme that's uniform for everything that's in the same like air quotes series.
It's always
Dude.
hard.
I'm not gonna lie, I started reading like the words in the middle of the two design, like the two sides, the skin, eyes, hoodie. I thought for a second that was like the shit from Part 6 where it's like the stuff for that Poochie was talking about. I don't know why. I've got JoJo brain.
I like to, when I do, like, the color references instead of the circles, because then you kind of have to extrapolate, I like to use a chunky impact font, A, because it's easier to read, but B, because then instead of using the circles, you can just boop, boop,
Cool.
boop.
Also, like, I was thinking because I'm gonna be on my fucking laptop and actually start fucking drawing, or who knows, I probably won't.
I love ArtFight. ArtFight gives me the opportunity to do a bunch of new shit that I, like, would never have had the chance to do otherwise. I recommend it to people consistently because, like, you can do as much art as you feel like you want to, but I think it's a great growth opportunity because it really pushes you to draw things that you would not draw otherwise. And it's a great, it's an absolutely excellent growth tool. Plus, there's nothing wrong with, plus I just like drawing artwork for other people.
Yeah, it's great. I love doing it.
I love how excited some of the people I draw art for get.
I have a lot
I
of
get excited when
bookmarks.
people draw my characters, so it makes me happy.
I have a lot of Twitter bookmarks for a reason, and now I'm even double glad I've done the amount of fan art I have of various characters you've designed now.
Yeah.
I know, because I see a number of it in your fan art slideshow at the starting soon screen.
I like to, I've said this before, one of my favorite things to do for ArtFight, especially in the early days, is I like to scroll through, and my favorite thing to do is find people's sparkle dogs and then draw them on the first day. Is your character loud neon colors? Is this clearly a 13-year-old's first OC? Then that's usually what I go for first. For two reasons. One, they're historically incredibly fun to draw. I love, getting to really push, like, outfit and colors and all those things with people's, like, clearly their first characters. And the other thing is, I know that when I was that age, that would have meant the world to me. I'd have fucking cried. So A, I like to do something nice for people just starting out, and B, it's just fun.
I've been called Sparkle Dog a few times in my life.
You do have kind of Sparkle Dog energy. I don't think you're
I have a lot.
I don't think you're quite there, but I can see it.
I have a lot of energies I'm learning these past few weeks.
So true. I also like to, depending on the day, I like to pick a theme and then just draw a bunch of those. So, like, for example, day one, I just find a bunch of OCs I like, and I draw those to get warmed up. But, like, day two, I'll decide, like, I'm feeling like drawing a bunch of Sonic OCs today, and I'll filter by those. Or, I feel like drawing a bunch of, let me see if I can find some furry stuff to try and draw today. Like, stuff like that. Or like, today I think I want to practice drawing animals. Let me see if I can find some people's warrior cats OCs. Love that shit. Also, thank you for the resub. Ooh, perfect timing. Hang on. Let me see who we're going to raid.
Alright, sick.
I was gonna work on the thing I'm going to do, but I can't because I don't know what the teams are yet. We'll raid into Realm.
Nice, nice.
I'll see all of you Saturday! For something, I don't know. I keep telling you I'm gonna do things and then I don't, but you know me!
You could do a number of things.
Uh,
It's the mystery box stream. It
You're
could
so
be
right.
any-
Goodbye!
Bye.
Bye, Inara.